What's up, gang? It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And tonight I want to talk about don't manage me. Don't manage me. I remember, let's see where this goes, because I remember years ago I was a CEO of a real estate company, and there were a lot of conversations that happened around managing situations, managing people. Tonight I was watching an episode of Dexter with my family. We like that show. And there was this scene that just totally triggered me because there was, if you've watched Dexter, then you know, but there was this Captain LaGuerta who was totally trying to cover something up, but she was trying to manage her subordinate. She was trying to tell her subordinate to just do stuff, and it was just gross. It was gross. I hated it, and partially I would imagine because I've done that. Like you try to get people to care about things they don't care about. You try to get people to do things they wouldn't necessarily do. And a lot of this is managing people for a particular result, right? Or managing them for a particular action. And it's gross, and I don't like it. And so now it triggers me because I've done it. I know what it sounds like. I know what it looks like, and I don't like it. And the way this pertains to you, or at least the way this pertains to marketing, since that's the theme of this show, is that so much of marketing these days is trying to manage people. We're trying to manage people to an action, a result. Buy my thing. I have false scarcity. There's only 5 copies left of my PDF. Like this stuff that is really subversive. It's gross. I don't like it. And I can feel it. And my guess is that you also can feel it and don't like it. So much of marketing feels this way. We feel like we're being managed. We're like, listen, I can see your hidden agenda. I can see your angle in your post. When you reach out to me on LinkedIn, before you even message me, when you send me a connection request on LinkedIn, I already see you trying to manage me. All I have to do is look at your bio or whatever it is that shows up underneath your name in LinkedIn. And if it says anything about how you help people go to 6 figures, 7 figures, you help people become whatever, I already see your intention before I even accept your connection request. It's gross. And this is what those of us who have been burned by people who are in business, you're in business, I'm in business, and we have been burned by people, we're sensitive to this managing of us. People are trying to manage us. People are trying to cover things up. They're trying to cover up their agenda. There's a hidden agenda, and they're coming at us like like wolves in sheep's clothing. And it's gross. And this is the problem with marketing. This is the problem with marketing. You know what? One of the things I hate, one of the sayings I hate is, and people wear this like a badge of honor, right? They say, marketers ruin everything. I was listening to a guy the other day. By the way, I follow this guy. I follow this guy because I think he has really good perspective on marketing. He has put in his time and he's amazing at understanding how things work. But he wears this badge of honor like, I ruined email marketing. I ruined landing pages. I ruined Facebook ads. Like it's a badge of honor that you went in and totally ruined a platform because of how you took advantage of people. To the point where people didn't want to use the platform anymore. To the point, in other words, look, break that statement down. Marketers ruin everything. So, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this as if it's a badge of honor. He talks about how, email marketing, he was getting 90% open rates in the beginning of email marketing, and then he ruined email marketing. Ultimately, what he's saying is that people stopped trusting email marketing because they kept being sold to. And then people stopped trusting the next thing because they've been sold to. So why is it a badge of honor to ruin something? That seems totally ridiculous. And you and I get that. You and I get that. You and I are not willing to ruin something for the sake of gaining something, right? Tell me that's true for you. You and I are not willing to ruin something in order to gain something. You and I are trying to make the world a better place. So, where does that leave you and I in a world who's willing to ruin things in order to gain something? By the way, what are they gaining? What in God's name are they gaining? A transaction? 5 transactions? 1,000 transactions? Until what? Until what? Until they ruined a platform? They got theirs at the expense of what? At the expense of us not trusting people anymore. You ruined it. Great. I don't trust you anymore. And by the way, I don't just trust you. I don't just don't trust you. I don't trust everybody else. Because you ruined it, in your own words, you ruined it for everybody else. This is the problem. You and I are here to change that. At least I am. I don't know if you are. Actually, I don't know if you are. I think you are. The reason I think you are is because I think that you have a heart that is not willing to sell out. You're not willing to ruin something to gain something. I think you have a heart that says, I want to make things better. I don't want to ruin things. I want to make things better. And if that is your heart, then you're the person I want to talk to. Like, that's who this conversation is for about marketing. Marketing for the rest of us. The rest of us are those of us who want to make it better. The rest of us don't want to ruin it. The rest of us want to make it better. So how do we make it better? How do we make it better? In a world where 98% of people don't trust what they read online because marketers ruin it, because people are trying to manage us, in a world where 98% of the behavior is that way, how do you and I make it better? Okay, here's what I've discovered so far. In my journey of trying to make it better, here's what I've discovered so far. In your marketing, when you come from a place of transparency and authenticity, when you come from a place of speaking your truth, saying what life has taught you, not because you're trying to produce a result, not because you're trying to manage people, but because you're trying to help people. When you can expose the darkness of things, even when you're in the business of those things. Do you hear that? I am in the business of marketing. And I'm shining a light and exposing the darkness of marketing. I am in the industry of marketing. But I am a whistleblower on marketing. Because people in marketing wear it as a badge to ruin things and to manage people with false scarcity and manipulation left and right and everywhere. So what makes this better is that you and I begin to shine a light, shed light on the darkness that other people see and feel and wonder if it's just them, or wonder what's wrong with them, or wonder who they can trust. And when you start to shine a light on the darkness, they go, oh, you see what I see. And when you see what I see, now I feel like I'm not insane, but 2, I can trust you. I remember this is years ago now, but I remember years ago there was a marketer who I respect because I think he comes from a place of not wanting to ruin things. But what he said was like, look, don't just create content to create content. Like, create content to make the space better. Make the space better. The space you share into, the space you're trying to change and help and support. Share content into that space so that the space is better. This is why I have a problem with algorithms and SEO. If you're going to chase SEO and algorithms, then you've no longer made it about the people you're trying to serve. You've made it about trying to appease the Facebook gods, appease the SEO gods. And that leads to marketing efforts that ruin it for everybody. So here's what you need to know in closing. If you're going to make it better, if you're going to do marketing in a way that actually makes the world better and supports the people you're trying to serve, then ultimately what has to happen is you have to find your truth. I don't think you can make the world a better place by buying someone's content calendar that's pre-planned for 2 years. Instead, you have to look for what has life taught you today, yesterday, this week, this year. What has life taught you about the things you're trying to help others with? And capture that lesson so that you can share it back with people. And here's what I want to tell you. Life teaches you something every day. Life brings you little triggers. Like I had a trigger tonight watching a TV show. And I got triggered. And it reminded me that just like the person in the show is being managed, every day marketers are trying to manage us. And today, this very day, the day you're listening to this very day, something popped for you. Some lesson came to you that life gave you. That if you recognize that you can share it back with the rest of us and shine light on the darkness that is there for the rest of us. That is how you make the world a better place. That's how you make it better. Is you share your truth. You share what life is teaching you back with the rest of us. And you step out from behind your mask so that by being vulnerable and transparent so that we can step out from behind our mask and have an honest conversation. That's how we make it better. My question for you is, are you in? Are you in? Because most people who teach marketing, listen to me now, most people who teach marketing want to teach you how to build a website, how to build a landing page, how to do email marketing, and none of it gets to the substance of, the source of, the light of what makes this whole thing work. And so many of you will have your ears tickled, and you'll be attracted to eye candy of all sorts of shiny objects and fancy things as people talk to you about marketing tools and tactics and strategies. And what I'm telling you is there is a bigger game underneath the surface that actually makes the world a better place. And my question for you is, do you want to be tricked into chasing shiny objects and fancy things only to have your ears tickled? Or do you want something that has substance? Because most people in marketing, 99% of people who are trying to teach you marketing don't have this perspective on marketing. They have not gone into the shadow of this whole conversation. And they're simply trying to teach you on the surface of marketing, the things and tools and tactics of marketing, so that you can go out and create another sale. Meanwhile, the rest of us are over here trying to make the world a better place. So my question for you is, do you want to sell another thing, or do you want to make the world a better place? And your answer to that question is really important because it decides the path you take, the next direction. And most of you, because there's a financial pinch for you, you're going to chase the shiny magic bullet because that has the over-sensationalized promise of 10x returns overnight. And when you realize that, because many of you still are not realizing that, and you're succumbing to the sensationalization that to the fact or to the promise of overnight results, when that in fact is not a possibility. And what you'll discover at some point, when you wake up, at some point you'll discover you're being managed. You are being managed. Here's where to go with this conversation. All right, here's the next step for you. You have two paths. The first path is, if you want to be managed and you want to chase shiny objects and you want your ears to be tickled and you want to believe in the lie that you could have an overnight success, then you need to stop listening to this podcast, because that's not what this whole conversation is about. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. I wish you well. When you wake up to how it really is, please come back, because I have a conversation for you that really matters. Now, if that's not you and you're ready for the other conversation, the other path, then that path is not what's the trick, the tactic, the strategy, the magic bullet. That path is understanding what is required of me in my marketing so that I can make the world better. And that is not an overnight success. That is a long-term strategy. And in order to go the distance in that long-term strategy, you need to align yourself with others who see it the same way. Because if you don't, you'll pick up the next book, listen to the next podcast, watch the next webinar, and when somebody gives you some sensationalized, headline or promise, you're going to bite it hook, line, and sinker, and then off you go for another year to 18 months chasing something that isn't real. And here's what you will eventually discover. At some point, you will discover you've been managed. People have been managing you. I just keep saying the same thing over and over again. So that's a good sign for me that I'm done. Like, when I start to get to the point where I want to say the same thing over and over again, like, I get that I've said my message. Like, I've said it. Okay? So most people in this tribe who are ready for something important, value they find value in the container that I've created. I've created a program that actually helps you dig into your important work, like the message you're here to say. And there is no over-sensationalized promise to this. What there is real work to do. What there is real frameworks to implement. There's real work to do here. And in order for you to do that work, you have to get in touch with the message that is inside of you. It's not outside of you, it's inside of you. And once you find that, you already have it, by the way. You already have that message. It's been poking you. It's been prompting you, brewing, bubbling up inside of you. You already have that message. You just don't trust yourself enough yet to follow it. And that's why I created this program, because I know that it's inside of you and I have the ability to help connect you to it. And once you have that, you can go out into the world and make the difference you're here to make. So I will end with that. Thank you for hanging out with me in this episode. If you'd like to learn more about that 6-week program, go to groundswellmethod.com. The link is in the text of this post. And until tomorrow, when we post again, here's to you finding what's important in your marketing.